Hello, guys. Happy Monday. I'm currently at my in-laws because our furnace in our house shit the bed. So, I hope you got your water. Boop. Cheers. Let's get a chug before we start our mindset chat today. So, I am so excited about our mindset topic this week. We're talking about how to improve your relationship with food. Food, something that is vital for life, vital to sustain life, vital to continue to have a thriving life, also something that can impair your quality of life. So, what is having a healthy relationship with food and why is it so important? First thing that I want to say is that food, yes, you need it for survival. However, food is so much more than just a need for survival. Food is centered around culture. It's centered around celebrations and events and get-togethers. It's centered around birthday parties and date nights and wine nights with your girlfriends to watch The Bachelorette. It's centered around so many different areas in your life. You use it for your training, you use it for your recovery, you use it for hiking a marathon or running a marathon, you use it to hike a mountain, you use it in different travel, you try different cuisines. There is just so much abundance of emotion and connection and just different things that are centered around food. So food is not simply just fuel for you. It is so much more than that. So we're going to chat today about what an unhealthy relationship with food looks like, which is not uncommon considering the society that pretty much every person has been raised up to in this point, or raised in up to this point. So for me growing up, the center around food was always thin is better, the very low rise genes, having a flat stomach, having zero body fat. Everything was low fat, low carb. Keto was a really big thing. No gluten was a really big thing as I was growing up. And that is just simply my generation. I know for my parents' generation or anybody in an older generation, it was always very, it's basically always been pretty much starve yourself. Low fat, very low carb, very low sodium. All of those different things are society's ways of just keeping you interested to buy people's food. It's all about marketing. And so all of that can really contribute to having this negative mindset around food and simply just being completely confused, frustrated, overwhelmed with all of this mass information, and you ending up being like, you know what? I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to do. I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to eat. This is all overwhelming. Sally Sugar a lot is telling me to never drink diet sodas, whereas this person is telling me, yes, diet sodas are okay, so what the hell do you believe? And then you kind of get in this mindset rat race of everything's bad, everything's gonna kill you, and what do I do? And now I just feel guilty every time I eat. Now I binge and restrict. So I'm gonna go through a couple different things of what a unhealthy relationship with food looks like. So you tell me and think if any of these resonate with you, if you've said them before, if you've thought them before, okay? Number one, I binge and then restrict to make up for it. Carbs make me fat. Carbs will make you fat. I only drink coffee for breakfast. I never eat sugar, I never eat carbs, I never eat dessert. This food has toxins in it, and this food is bad for you. That food is bad for you, or that food is good for you. All of those things are the most common things that I see as a nutrition coach that contributes to this very unhealthy way of eating, or unhealthy way of thinking and behaving around food and having that negative emotional connection towards it. So strictly avoiding food, so food avoidance would be the major thing that people struggle with when having a relationship with food. That food's bad for me, I don't eat this food, carbs make you fat, I restrict myself, I'd never eat this type of food. Having that long list of foods that you are trying to avoid for the rest of your life can actually lead to more binging, more paranoia, more paranoia around food, more anxiety around food. It can lead to a diagnosable eating disorder, and it can lead to an extreme long lifeline of weight fluctuations where you binge, restrict, low fat, low carb, high carb, and you end up on this wave of trying to learn something that doesn't actually work for you, and then you just say fuck it and gain a bunch of weight. Not that weight loss or weight gain is directly associated with what you eat and your mindset around food. However, that is usually one of the biggest things. So how to build your healthy relationship with food. I have a couple of tips here on how to overcome it. We'll get to those later. But the number one thing around having a positive relationship with food, number one, is just simply educating yourself on nutrition. So I have a precision nutrition certification. I'm just going to sit on my butt here, which is a really, really, really useful tool to simply learn how to fuel your body, learn what food is, how it serves you. Everything that you eat sends a message and a signal to your body to react in a certain way. Fats, for example, if you eat fats, those are really good for hormone health. Those are really good for vitamin metabolization. Those are really good for brain health, joint health. Whereas carbs, if you eat carbs, those are really good for physical energy, mental energy as well. Those are really good for muscle recovery. That is the main thing that your brain thrives on and uses for brain function. Protein, if you eat protein, that is going to help build your muscle. Every organ and tissue in your body is made up of cells, and your cells are built on protein. Just protein is the number one most important thing. That's why I'm always harping on you guys to make sure that you eat enough protein, because 90% of the population undereats protein, because it is something that people just struggle to get in because it's not as easily available as going to the grocery store and picking up a box of Cheerios. So when you understand and educate yourself around food and nutrition, it allows your mind to open up in this way of, not feeling guilt around food, but just understanding that there is a message and a signal that your body is receiving every time you ingest something. Water is a signal for your body. Water is a huge hydration signal, which is super important. By the way, let's drink up. So educating yourself around food is going to be a really good, useful tool. Now, when I say educate yourself, have a reputable educator like Precision Nutrition. Look them up. They have an amazing course. What I hesitate you not to do, or encourage you not to do, is to follow nutrition advice from Sally down the street. Sally down the street did keto, lost 30 pounds, and now wants everybody else to do keto and thinks that she's a nutrition expert. Me and Sally are not friends, because Sally shares fear-mongering advice to people and tells them to never eat carbs because carbs are bad, carbs make you fat, and that's why she lost 30 pounds, was because she didn't eat carbs. Not true. Do not take your nutrition advice or any nutrition advice from people who are not qualified nutritional experts, because especially in the day of social media, Facebook and Instagram and the news and magazines, everybody likes to say, you know what, I got this physique by doing this, so I'm going to share my tips to do this so that you can look like me. Or everybody's been asking me how I got this six-pack, so I did this, so now you have to do this. While in turn, you have no idea if that person actually did that. They probably have no qualifications to actually know and understand if that is going to be the best thing for you, for your history, for your goals, for your lifestyle. And taking nutrition advice from any random person is the number one thing I encourage you not to do. Please don't do that. Okay? So audit yourself. What do you read? What do you listen to? What do you watch? What do you ingest in your social media? And how can you change that to it be more of a food positive, food neutral kind of space? Okay? Change your language around food. That's a big one as well. Do you look at a piece of cheesecake and say, you know what, I'm not gonna have cheesecake. Cheesecake's bad for you. No thanks. Vegetables are good for you. Granola bars are bad for you. Steak is good for you or bad for you, depending on who you ask. Putting that morality on food and labeling it as good or bad creates this mindset game in your brain of never eat the bad and only ever eat the good. But who only ever eats the good? Not a lot of people, especially not a lot of people with a healthy mindset around food and healthy relationship with food. Okay, so stop labeling your food as good or bad. Okay. Last one is to join a support group or network of people who are on the same journey as you. This is a important thing to add, is that adding in therapy or adding in a professional to help with your mindset and help with your perspective on food and your relationship with food can help you hugely. Simply surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded people who can give you that permission is so wildly important. I have this quote here. I'm going to read our quote at the end of the day, actually, or at the end of the video, actually, because I really, really love this quote. So, yeah, that's just some different tips for you to help you improve your relationship with food. Education, audit what you consume, find a professional to talk to, join a support group. Those are the biggest things to help you improve your relationship with food. So, mindset. What does having a positive mindset around in a relationship with food actually look like? Examples. I have examples for you. This food will give me lots of energy for my exercise. This food will help my body recover, rebuild cells, and stay strong. I enjoy all foods in moderation. No foods are good or bad. Some foods are going to serve me one way, some foods are going to serve me other ways. Some foods have more nutrients in them, some foods have less nutrients in them. What do I need right now in this moment? Food has no morality to me. I do not fear food, and food does not control me. If you are somebody who is constantly thinking and overthinking what you should eat, is that too much? Is that not enough? What is the product or the result going to be of eating this food? Okay? I will eat when I'm hungry and stop when I am full. Having that simple self-awareness as to brain to body connection, that's a big one as well. Are you eating when you are actually hungry, or are you stopping when you are actually full? And last one, I do not overthink everything that I eat. I think that's hugely important as well. When you eat food, if you eat a piece of cake, move on with your day. You don't need to sit there and feel guilty about it or think about how you probably could have eaten vegetables or anything else like that. You got to just continue, move on with your day, improve if you need to, but listen to your body at the same time. Okay, so that is our talk on having a positive, healthy relationship with food. Okay, I get to read our quote now. You have unconditional permission to eat what you want for your physical and mental health. There are no conditions connected to the food that you eat. You do not need permission to eat certain types of food from different people. You do not need to have that attachment to the result of what you're going to eat. You have unconditional permission to eat what you want for your physical and mental health. Let's say that you had cake for every meal of the day. Probably not going to do a lot for your physical health. Let's say you had one piece of cake at a birthday party or something. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's not going to be a detriment to your physical and mental health, but it'll probably help your mental health by enjoying that piece of cake and moving on with the rest of your day, right? So that is my talk for you today about having a healthy, improved relationship with your food. If you want to talk more about this, or if you do struggle with this a lot, then reach out and let's have a chat, because I want you to be able to look at food and move on with it. I don't want you to have to overthink it and overanalyze everything and feel a lot of negativity or pressure towards food. Okay, so that's our talk this week. That's our talk today. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.